Hello, everyone, and welcome to the back end of week 4 here for DMV Rivals Winter 2026. My name is Shiv, joined by Prone to get into this Saturday night match between the Babbles Babblers and Mume.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Both these teams sitting at 1-2, hungry for that next win to move up to 2 wins. And draft has already been underway, so we see that. I'm not too familiar with both of these teams. I have played against Mume before in scrims, but besides that, not really super familiar. So these bans are probably targeted for players.
Yeah, Babbles and, excuse me, I lose track of both of these players. But both of these teams are playing with a couple subs, I believe. But either way, it is going to be Rumble, I'd hope, in the top lane for the Babblers.
If this Cassante is locked in, we're gonna see Rumble versus Cassante. This is a European classic. They played this like 6 out of 6 games last week, I think, and it's just like the most common matchup possible right now in the top lane. Both these champs insanely strong. Blind picks and yep, Cassante and also Wukong locked in.
Yeah. The side of Mume, Pika in the jungle has liked a lot of the standard bruisers, has played a lot of Wukong, a lot of Xin Zhao throughout DMV thus far. Meanwhile, Babbles has played quite a few things. He's brought out the Pantheon, the Volibear, the Amumu, the Gwen. It definitely has shown off a deep champion pool, as it's going to be Jarvan locked in. Definitely pairs nicely with the Rumble.
Yeah, if they play any Orianna, yep, there it is. This is the classic. The what is it called? It's the spicy hot pot combo. J4 Rumble. Throw in a mid laner that has another good ulti on top. Pretty classic. Not gonna be the Orianna, but Victor. Surprisingly in game 1, I feel like Victor is not super high on the mid priority pool, but if the side of Babbles plays it, then very good as well.
Yeah, we'll see if Mume want to counter out that mid lane immediately before getting to the bans, or if there's another strong pick that they quite like. Mume has played a lot of mage bot lanes, but I believe that was due to substitutions. So in this game, they will go for Yunara as their power pick in the bot lane.
Yeah, so far both teams incredibly standard draft. All these champions except for the Victor, but still control mage. Very, very popular, very strong, and very high priority in the current patch, in the current meta. Varus being banned out. Probably the strongest AD carry besides Yunara, arguably. So good ban there. Looking to reduce the power that they have left in the bottom lane for Younglin.
Definitely, as we see that last ban is Lulu. So definitely some pinching being done in the support role. Mume are playing without Curse of Dragon. They are instead with Max Vince. Curse has played a lot of interesting enchanter picks like Zillion, like Lux. And so even with that substitution, they still want to narrow down on those supportive picks. Don't let the Yunara get all those good shields and heals. But Janna, another ban from the side of Mume, and perhaps more supports to come down with the Nautilus ban as well.
Yeah, so if I'm the side of Babbles, or whatever their name is, I am looking for engage. I feel like only J4 being your sole CC in lockdown is not really anything like special. So the Janna ban is a little bit interesting. I think that Janna is not going to contribute much to that comp, but Corki, the #1 matched like AD carry into Yunara. I think that lane is about as strong and as well scaling as you can get it without it having any significant downsides. Corki is just so significantly like powerful right now, independently and also in this comp. So they need some lockdown here, I think, for support.
Yeah, there are still good options. I think, especially when you're staring down the Akali, picks like Alistar make a lot of sense where you can still Q her when you find her in the shroud with the sweeper. You can W her out once you're able to actually click her. But no, it will be that more powerful laning presence of the Nami, more likely than not, has been favorite partner of Corki and Lucian thus far this year, as Mume now need to figure out what they would like to pair with this Yunara.
Oh, this will be interesting. Now this really want like Nami as a champion really is not good against super hard engage. So the Nautilus ban is a good look. Alistar is pretty good, but like the lane overall is not very good for Mume. I think Alistar into Nami is not very strong. Alistar, you really need to have a lot of kill threat on every single combo you do, or take phase rush. But yeah, Alistar's not super significantly threatening.
Yeah, so on the side of Mume, they've got some good divers in the Kasante, in the Akali, in the Wukong, while their bot lane is maybe a bit more defensive focused, where Alistar pretty solid at peeling. He can at least maybe disrupt that hot pot combo that Babbles have got going with the Rumble and the Jarvan.
Yeah, Nami is probably the best lockdown besides Nico that you're gonna get from a range support that is not weak in lane, especially paired with Corki. Corki Nami is like the new premier Lucian Nami. I think it's just like slightly better. Corki's upsides are so high and his downsides are so low compared to Lucian's downsides. Um, so yeah, this is the premier Nami combo. Has a good ult that can pair with Victor, J4, Rumble. And Nami as a whole really accelerates comps that want to explode one target or really play fast on a single point. And her being able to proc the mandate on Victor and Rumble is pretty good. Nami always good with AP champs, and also Rumble Corki with his missiles. So yeah, I like the Nami pick. I think it does the job as well as any other engage support.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good threats on the side of the Babblers with that Corki Nami that you expect to be solid in lane, and then move on to have Corki doing the big damages from that point on. You've got Victor with AoE, you've got Rumble with AoE. As long as they can maybe soak up that initial kitchen sink that Mume may throw at them with the Cow, with the Wukong, with the Kasante and Akali, does feel like their comp can definitely have those triple threats deal out all the damage they need.
Yeah, I will say I do like the Mume side a little bit better. Kasante very solid at weak siding. So, and also I feel like this top lane matchup is like a little bit of a skill matchup at this point. I've seen both sides win. Rumble obviously is such a big lane bully, but Kasante is Kasante. So anything can happen up there if left isolated. Otherwise, on most other points of the map, the side of Mume really wins out on most skirmishes. I feel like Alistar provides a lot. They have a little bit of a losing bot side, but Alistar just syncs up so well with Akali and with Wukong. It makes their job so much easier, and they don't really have any peel once the Akali is able to get going. Like you're really looking at what the wave from Nami, and that's about it. The bubble maybe. So the skirmishing power of Mume is really scary.
Absolutely. I am double checking here. I know we have the sub on the support side for Mume. I believe there was another sub on the Babel side as well, that I believe was also in the support role. The streamer mode
Yeah,
cutting
I'm
off
not really
everyone's
like
names is very difficult to figure out who's who in the zoo, but either way, it should be an interesting game here as both these teams trying to reach 500, get their second win of the split. And as we figure out whether or not the league client is going to kick us out or not.
Yeah, last time we did it without spectator delay, and it was pretty nice. Maybe we should do that this time, but I don't know if you have the 3-minute delay on. I think the client might just be broken. What the heck?
Yep, that's going to be spectator delay. So we will take a bit of a break before getting into game number 1. Hello, everyone. It's time for game number 1 between Mume and the Babbles Babblers. Some interesting things to note down in the bot lane. Both teams are playing with a support Max Vince coming in place of Cursed Dragon, and Cat coming in place of 180 full boxed. So we'll see how that affects this lane at all, as the Nami lanes tend to be a bit abusive, with the early Alistar not quite being able to do too much.
Yeah, this bot lane should be really heavily favored towards Corki Nami. I feel like Younglin will have plenty of experience in this lane. With both junglers pathing down and Rumble Cassandra being left in isolation. We can watch this pretty closely, but I feel like Babbles is a pretty strong, or both these top laners are pretty strong. Two of the premier top laners in our tournament will be an interesting matchup to watch.
Absolutely. We do see both junglers pathing down towards the bottom lane, so I mean, don't expect much to happen. Raptors are warded out on both sides, so both teams will know how each jungler is electing to do their first clear.
Yeah, as long as this game is kept even, I feel like it will eventually tilt into the favor of Mume. Again, they're 5v5 and their skirmishing power is just so powerful. It really feels like the side of Babel's Babblers have to have a lot of setup and be very careful when they approach their fights, which is not a luxury they will always be able to afford.
Yeah, I mean, the CC lockdown for when those skirmishers are getting going in fights, whether it's the Wukong, whether it's the Akali, not all too prevalent. The Gravity Well takes some time to arm. Tidal Wave is all right for Peel, but don't have something like a Nautilus, and Alistar, Leona to lock these guys down, as both junglers will be finishing off their first clears. Younglin and Cat getting the early priority, as we would expect, from Nami into Alistar. We'll see how much the junglers are willing to war over first crab. If you're the side of Pika, you probably just want to path up to top side, which is exactly what he is going to do.
Yeah, interesting thing is that Babel's opted to go with the first strike on Rumble. Rumble can go like a ton of different runes. It really depends how you play him and your matchup, obviously. And first strike into Cassandra, like I don't know Rumble that much, but I feel like that's pretty free, but you lose out on some laning power. So he's really playing more to play safe and not trade super hard and just scale with the extra gold. And it looks like things are getting scrappy in the top lane, but they will both try and just keep it stable for now.
Yeah, there will be a bit of scrapping up here for the Rumble and Cassante. Nothing incredibly spicy. All 4 laning summoners are teleport, so nothing like ignites or ghosts to try to get aggressive. But curious to see how Pacquiao on this Akali is able to do. Obviously, Victor is not as oppressive in lanes as perhaps an Orianna or even like a Syndra Rise situation. He's running out of mana, something that Akali does not have to worry about. So as long as she can sustain up with the Doran Shield with her probably resolve secondary runes, and then get to that level 6 and start to threaten some all-ins. So far, a good job from Pacquiao to be able to take his first base.
Yeah, and we've seen a big, or relatively big lead already opening up for the bot lane. Evan 732 and Max Vince. Max Vince not having phase rush means this lane is even harder to play now. Like I said before, you have to, if you're gonna take a heavy combat keystone like Aftershock or even Glacial, you really have to threaten the all-in with Alistar, which is something that does not really like exist in his damage threshold, I guess. So he's really indexing fully for the 5v5s and the skirmishes.
Yeah, and he's not really playing with an AD that can even poke down this Lucian, or excuse me, this Corki Nami. And even if he did, the Nami would be able to heal. Both junglers ending on bot side again. We'll see if there's any sort of scrapping there, as Fables is maybe looking for an opportunity, but so is Pika, as the wave is in a rough spot for Evan and Max Vince. Now his flag and drag is going to be interrupted, now punted back. Fables has to flash away. Evan trying to supply the damage. Youngblin now might be a bit too far. Double combat. Somebody flashes in. He gets first blood.
Oh.
Evan is next to fall as Wukong is able to finally trade one back, but needs some more damage to get the kill on the Jarvan, and he gets it. So even in the 3v3, it is a even 2 for 2 to both teams.
Yeah, Evan still has barrier up, and Younglin didn't need to flash forward. I feel like he miscalculated his damage, so... Oh.
Broken. Best support in the game. There it is.
Yeah, like what we were saying, the Nami is deceivingly powerful early. But yeah, we can kind of see there's a little bit of nerves maybe between both these AD carries so far. A little bit of dancing around happening in the bottom lane, but I guess it's a 3 for 2.
Yeah, a bit of hubris there from Pika. Fish tend not to be the predators of monkeys, so I can understand the feeling of safety that Pika had down there, as we continue to see a lot of trading. But even with that early scrap, all the kills for the side of Mume went onto the Wukong. No real additional power for this Yunara, for this Alistar, compared to the first blood on the Corki. That late kill for the Nami that'll get her closer to that mandate. And we'll see if maybe Pika wants to get involved in this top lane, because Washed is getting quite low now that the Rumble Poke is stacking up.
Equalizer is still available in the top lane if they intend to look for anything, but Wash at top is getting the timer now to recall, as both junglers looking down to looking to pad down to the bot side. Fables will be ahead of Pika though. Oh, Wash at top stayed.
Yeah, he'll try to pick up what he can from that wave. But we do see an actual aggressive play onto the dragon, so Fable is going to skip his red, skip his Krugs to get first onto that objective with his pushing bot lane. And that should mean it's an uncontested dragon. Wukong being on this side means he can't really trade for grubs, at least as of now. And even when he maybe makes a move up there, that pushing rumble could prove difficult, as the Kali's now just going to get the all-in. And with the Shuriken flip and just an R1, it's a solo kill for Pika, as now Babel's maybe getting a bit overzealous on the bot lane. Here comes the side of Pika. Wukong is going to be able to get out for now, re-engaging onto Youngblin. There's no summoners on the Corki. A 3-man Cataclysm doesn't mean anything when there's no damage to be done. 3 kills across the different lanes for Mume. Now Wash, not quite able to get the angle on the all-out. He'll continue to try to maybe chase him down in the long lane, but don't think there's too much for Babbles to be scared of. He doesn't have Equalizer, but he's got a lot of heat.
A lot of action happening already on the map. We said that we wanted to keep this, or the side of Babel's Beyblade wants to keep it a little stable, but they did the exact opposite by coin flipping an invade there when they knew that Pika would also be pathing downwards. So a little bit questionable there, but
oh, but now Evan might be caught out. He's gonna get Gatling gun down. That's gonna be a freebie for Youngblin to help him feel a bit better. But now it's time to fight over the top side. Equalizer's down. Pika trying to get away. Here comes the 1-for-1 trade, as Wash on top doesn't have ulti, and neither does Pacquiao. Please, Lee Sin trying to layer out these spells, but they're not looking too great in the 2v2, as Babels just slips away with the flag and drag.
Yeah, things just getting so scrappy. Babels did have flash up, so if he just flashed the Cassante W, I feel like it would have been a really, really hard winning play. But nevertheless, 1-for-1 on the top side. Evan getting caught out. Means the map is once again even, which is kind of what the side of BB want, but they need to be able to be more stable as the game transitions to mid game with no flashes up for Victor and Youngblin.
As we see Evan lose a bit of health to the Nami, just making sure that her Corki can get the base off.
Nami just did half his HP. That champ is busted.
Absolutely. As we start to see some first item power specs come on through. Gunblade done for the Akali. If there was any rough part of this Victor Akali matchup, it definitely did not look like it. Pac-Me up 20 CS in this matchup. Has that all-important Gunblade. Wukong also with the Triforce. Feels like that mid jungle on the side of Mume are definitely ready to scrap.
Yeah, I really dislike the Rod of Ages. Oh,
As we're going to maybe have an all-in. Not a ton of damage, but Max Vince is here to continue the CC and knock down Please Lee Sin to me.
oh, another fight here, maybe.
They're going to face check into Pika on the Wukong. Now Evan making his way over with the Transcendence. And that's going to be an easy catch onto Cat, forcing the flash. Babbles, though, going to re-engage. Burns the flash off the Yunara before retreating. Another Arc of Ruin to try to chase, but nothing coming except the all-important Scuttle will go to Pika.
Yeah, Dragon in a minute 30 with both flashes of the 80 carries being burned and ultis on both Pika and Evan makes this really hard to fight, I think. This Dragon might not be as easy. They really have to play around Akali this fight. I think Perfect Execution might be up by then. But yeah, what I was saying before is that I really don't like the Rod of Ages out of Victor. I think Merc Treads is kind of all you need in theory against Akali. If you're itemizing any more defensively, it really ruins the damage potential that you have, and you really need to push this mid game when you have like a Cork or when you have a Nami, because these late game 5v5s are going to get even harder.
Yeah, he's also just struggling independently in the 1v1 as it is Pac-Me getting lane priority, able to take the base. The teleports were a bit desynced in top lane, but they will both have access to those for this Dragon. See how heavily either team wants to commit to it. Both junglers right now on the top side, so not forcing anything around that bot river as of now, especially when Evan's already down to half HP.
Yeah, Younglin also having the Essence Reaver finish, so this guy packs a punch right now. Does a ton of damage. They really, really have to play around the Corki right now.
Yeah, and he's eating good with the plates in bot as well. We do see Pac-Me cheat into the fog to just at least threaten a roam. Make sure that Younglin and Cat can't get super aggressive as he dips into the fog. And now they've got Wukong on that bot side as well. All out on top side, but we pan back over to mid because it's Pac-Me trying to get aggressive. Babels is there to at least cover, so nothing comes in either solo laning.
That is flash burned crucially off of Babbles, though, so there is a cross-map opportunity if who may choose to take it. They are not really super funneled into the Dragon play anymore, but their ultis are up, and they know that Babbles Beyblades are on reset, so they will start the Dragon right now.
Yeah, don't think there's going to be too much of an opportunity for a contest or for any sort of cross-map from Babels. It'll just be a nice job evening up the Dragon score as we are very even 14 minutes in. Everyone getting those first items going. The mid laners getting their nice shoes down there with the quest. So feels like with the Rumble Flash missing in top that there maybe are opportunities up there for the side of Mume. Whereas this Corki and Nami being very strong is going to be what perhaps the Babblers look to play around.
Yeah, I will say at this point of the game, Nami's PL might be enough to deal with Akali, so they should really be trying to push the advantage on the bot side as much as they can.
Yeah, but Max Vince
One
laying
wave
a
or one
trap in the brush, gets the headbutt under the tower. They thought they were safe with their own jungler around. They're able to trade it 1-for-1, but now the Wukong is going to start spinning and start winning. It's going to be another kill for Pika's Wukong as Babbles has to retreat. Shuriken Flip and Kunai's missing in mid, but still nice plays on bot side for Mume.
Yeah, now we see exactly why Wukong is such a strong champion into most of these other premier AD junglers right now, and why Wukong is in general the premier 80 bruiser. Just such a good matchup into any of the other 80 champs, really. You see how impossible it is for J4 to play fights like that? Even when Younglin does get the free kill onto Evan, the J4 is not able to find a way in.
Yeah, and right now the mid jungle on the side of Mume looking very strong for these kind of scraps. Herald's gonna now be the next thing on the map. So we talk about how strong that maybe this Corki Nami is. They're probably not gonna have too much of a say in this Herald. We're probably not gonna have Nami roaming or anything for that. They do cash in on an entire first tower, and the burst damage from the Corki Nami combo. Evan just not respecting what that duo can do.
Yeah, it's looking pretty rough for this
Oh,
Yunara. Ooh,
nice
another good all
angle.
out. No flash.
Yeah, Washed is going to try to continue the fight here with the Intofo Strike splashing and doesn't find Q3. Scrap Shield is back up off a cooldown, and Babbles might be able to walk this one out. He dodges another Q. Scrap Shield is up, and somehow, some way, the Rumble's going to give a kill over to the Wukong. He at least gets to equalize the wave. He at least gets the money for his efforts, but dies all the same.
Yeah, super well played by Babbles to live it out, but in the end, Pika always being where he needs to be. But we see the greatest counter to Cassante, the Swifty's boots. That's all you need, and you can get away from him. Given that Scrap Shield also gives you move speed, but you know, Cassante is Cassante. That champ eventually will get to you. Zeke's being completed now for Cassante, so that champ is deceptively strong at 2 items now.
I mean, it makes for a fast 2-item completion with the cheaper support item. I mean, you ulted, you drag someone back to your team with that Storm and slows for Wukong and Akali to do stuff, you know? I guess I see the vision, but I think for the most part, Washed on top is confident that his Kanik Rookern is all he's going to really need as far as pure tank items when he's going to be side laning against either a Rumble or a Victor with Roa that isn't going to really be able to pester him. So, able to just move down, help his jungler pick up this Herald.
I will say this Zeke's Herald item has been getting a lot of usage. Or it's slowly been getting a lot of usage. I also saw a dive bomber Kaisa.
Yeah, Kaisa.
Zeke's
Yeah,
Herald. Yeah, the Vietnamese one. And Malphite builds it, Hecarim builds it. A lot of these like diving champs just get so much value out of getting this item early. Sleeper item on this patch for sure.
Yeah, the Vietnamese Kaisa definitely caught me a bit off guard. But definitely we saw initial value on stuff like Malphite, like Ornn, where, you know, makes sense. We've had times where tank items build support in the past where, you know, it doesn't matter how tanky you are if your team dies, so get a locket, get a redemption. Zeke's maybe just the next step in that kind of itemization, as Dragon up in 18 seconds. Younglin working his way through, getting priority in mid. But the numbers are here for the side of Mume. Herald is going to get summoned up. Bubble onto the Wukong. Just takes a Corki rocket for it, as now flash in from Max Vince. They've caught out the Rumble. He's able to flash away, puts down an equalizer, as now the exit's gonna be difficult. Cataclysm onto 2, but Evan is still free firing. No kills just yet. Wukong re-engages with a 3-man Cyclone, but Max Vince doesn't die on the other side. It's 1-for-1. Now the Alistar getting low. The Chaos Storm is looking to maybe get some resets, as Evan is now caught in amongst it. Tries to pop the barrier, tries to dash away, but the Babblers pile in, and they may lose their Rumble, but they take out 4.
Yeah, that's a really ambitious engage, flashing over the wall to reach the Rumble, who has Flash himself and Swifties on top of that. And even if you guys are able to chase onto the Rumble, he'll just equalizer himself to get a ton of value before he goes down. It's really ambitious. I didn't think they would be able to pull it off when the engage happened off screen and they got punished for it.
And off the back of that, we'll see the Dragon secured by the Babblers, and they open up probably our first somewhat modest gold lead of the game, now at 2.5k up. Didn't see the influence in that fight from the Akali that I think you'd want as she joined up. Wasn't able to find a great assassination onto either the Corki the Victor or even the Nami. So now we've got this 2-item Corki that is going to be very difficult to deal with if any future fights emerge, which, to be fair, probably not going to be much unless Mume want to pull the trigger with their Wukong, with their Kasante, with their Akali.
Babel's happily just equalizing more waves and just chilling on the weak side as they knows that both junglers are on the top side of the map. Babel's is such a great weak side player, even though they put him on the Rumble. But even in other tournaments and other leagues, this guy has just been such a GOAT Scion and Cassante player as well. Always knows how to play on the safe side and knows how to play where the junglers are and aren't.
Absolutely. And a lot of times on teams, you want to be able to have drafts where you are able to play stuff like Rumble and have it be weak side, because the opportunity just ends up being better for you to play for Corki Nami and try to make plays down there. So even though we picked you a strong laner, even though we picked you a champion that traditionally is not weak side like Sion, that is going to be what's expected of you as the game unfolds. Even with 3 deaths, he's been able to contribute, get a very nice equalizer down in that last fight. As we do have Pika hovering in top side, just making sure that PackMe can push out that lane.
Those Swifties doing work. Yeah, Younglin is starting to hurt like crazy now. That big one just landed, but as soon as this LDR finishes, he will just be... Even this Cassante will just melt in front of him.
Oh, as Lee Sintami has to flash away from the Wukong, trying to lay down the gravity well, but he is isolated in a 1v2. Big shutdown for PackMe's Akali, but now that opens the door into the mid lane as they know there's no jungler around. Max Vince tries to combo them to get the wave, but he is not doing much of anything. Babbles joins up, gets the Cataclysm. They need to finish off the cow through his R, and they will, and the equalizers layered on top for a 2-0 in the mid lane.
Yeah, they are just continuing to use this Corgi as a turret and play wherever he is. He will just shred down everyone that's in front of him. You can see how fast he shreds down.
Yeah,
Watch the top now.
He's shredding the Cassante, but the Cassante gets an all-out to at least trade one back. Akali may be looking for an angle, but she doesn't have the ulti. Needs to play decently respectfully. Bubble is there, and now the autos are stacking up on the Corkster. Backflip out from PackMe, so a bit of extracurriculars after the initial picks.
Yeah, Max Vince has completed the Zeeks, and I don't really like that either. I feel like Bandle Pipes is so important for supports, engaged supports in general right now. Zeeks on the Cassante is nice, but Alzar, on the other hand, is not super great. It's good in solo queue, I guess. It does give you a lot of just straight up stats and like utility with the slow, but the utility out of more attack speed and more move speed, along with having phase rush in general, just gives Alistar a lot of more ways to play. You're not really like this super linear, or you don't really want to play like this super linear engaged champ like Rel, like Leona, like Nautilus, because his CC is so heavily focused around these 2 abilities. I feel like you need a lot more different ways to play.
Yeah, and if he's going to find a priority target, it feels like you get onto Younglin and then the rest of the team's going to follow through, and it doesn't matter how much that Zeke Storm or tankiness is really going to do. As long as you can get that 3-item Corki, that is going to be very powerful here for this 3rd dragon fight. But Mume are able to move in through mid, light up the river, and get their first bit of vision down.
Yeah, you can see Maximus wants to go in.
Oh, yeah, he's just going to get a flash on top of the Corki. They stun him against the wall, and now all out from Washed on top as Younglin is under duress, but so is Evan. Both AD carries are first to fall as now Akali is entering with the R2.
Oh
they
God.
get the Corki, and it all goes right for the side of Mume as Babbles is left to just flag and drag to escape. It should be an evened up dragon state for Mume.
Yeah, Younglin just straight up gave it to Max Vince, didn't respect the bush. He thought that they weren't in there or something, or there wasn't good communication to their map state, but he just walks straight up to the bush, and Max Vince delivers Younglin to Mume on a silver platter like that.
The Electro Harpoon absolutely hit from Babbles for him to at least know that, hey, there's a guy in here that we maybe shouldn't walk up to. I mean, even if you want to say like maybe they missed timed Alistar Flash and they didn't know it was up, he could have been hex flashing in that bush as well. So Younglin gets caught. He was pretty much the lead, at least in terms of the items for the side of Babbles. So once that Corki goes down first, doesn't really matter that you trade out Evan for it. That is something that Mume will take every day, maybe except for Evan himself, but they're absolutely content with that to take the fight from there.
Yeah, this Rumble with Bloodletters is actually starting to threaten the Cassante a little bit.
Oh, but here comes All Out now, as immediately Washed on top, able to go on the offensive, and Bloodletters did not exactly let him live through that.
Cassante, 4,700 HP, 200 armor and magic resist. Oh my god,
6
that
dashes,
copy pasta is so real.
Definitely says something when they've, you know, released enough champions that I don't exactly care about Cassante anymore. That there's other stuff I'm worried about. Kind of reminds me of how people complained a lot about Zoe initially back in the ancient times of 2018, and now she's like, yeah, she's a bit annoying, but you can deal with it. As Cassante definitely putting in good work for Washed on top here. As
I might have hurt Babbles a little bit there.
They do put the Cassante in mid now. I mean, Wukong is going to be able to find Babbles now in this odd man engage, but I mean, the Babblers know Cassante's up here. They're not going to opt into anything too stupid in a 3v4 where Akali will also probably be able to move first. So it's just a matter of, I would assume, moving Cassante up here to make sure that you can get vision around Baron.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to play through the side lanes at this point. Both side lanes are losing in whatever matchup you put them in. So really have to just play through the mid prio for the side of Babbles Babblers.
We will see the Babblers move through and get their vision down along the Baron River now as well. But Pac-Me not going to play too aggressive. Will be able to pick up the top wave there, as we've got quite a ways before any fighting. I think both teams are confident in their scaling abilities to go into the late game, whether you're looking at a very strong Corki, a very strong Victor, being able to keep on layering spells, very strong Yunara, Akali being able to one-shot people. However, only one of them ends up being right as far as who scales better. And I mean, the gold is very even at this point. So it is maybe going to come down to who is going to use that gold best.
Yeah, it's really on Younglin to make him a... Oh my god, he does so much damage. Oh, and that was so close. But it's really on Younglin to play correctly. If he makes a mistake, that's, you know, Babel's entire team gone right there. So he needs to play very carefully.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the entire game just flash before our eyes as Younglin was maybe face checking a bit too deep. And now here comes Two-Man Cataclysm. Hot Pot is there, served up with a side of rocket. It's a double kill for Younglin. And that is maybe going to open up the game through mid.
Yeah, they're going to head straight to Baron now. And this is what I always say. If the Baron...
He cancels the Shuriken flip, but Pac-Me still wants to go in before immediately going out with the R2. Now Evan getting zoned away by the Arcane Storm. It's all falling apart for the side of Mume. Pika's trying to get involved with the Cyclone, but there's no teammates around. It's another kill for the Corki, and that should be Baron.
Yeah, Packy almost thought he had an angle, but the random flag and drag interrupts all of his plans. That was just calculated from Babels, I guess. He just knew.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Akali had the scryers to see over the wall and pick her moment. I don't think there was anything like that on her herself. So, nice heads-up play. They keep the Corki alive. They have been on the map for a very long time, so they haven't been able to spend their gold leading up to this dragon fight that they look like they want to take. But Wukong is dead for 15 seconds. We're not going to see much of a contest from Mume as the third dragon is secured for the Babblers.
Yeah, the gold lead explodes to 5K now. Not super huge, but you can definitely feel the advantage mounting. But this is what I was saying. If the burden of execution to live rests on your AD carry, just engage first. It makes it so much easier for him to just clean up. Just throw your bodies on the line. As long as he is able to hit, that is your best chance to win a fight. And that's exactly what they do. They throw the hot pot onto them, and whatever happens, happens. It just happened to turn out well for them. And that is Baron and 5K now for Babel's Beyblades.
Yeah, you love to see it. It's the combo that they locked in very early on in the draft with the Rumble Jarvan. We see it work out there beautifully, and holy cow, that's
He's
a one
dead.
shot.
He's just dead.
But now maybe there's an angle for Pika and Pac-Me to get going. Here comes the Cyclone, but the Tidal Wave to split them up. Massive Aqua
that
Prison
bubble.
as they just can't find a way onto the Corki. He evades them. He gets the triple as now they're locked up for a quadra to Younglin.
That might be all she wrote, Shiv. They couldn't complete the dive on him. Watch that top. Last one trying to get out, but I don't think he has enough to stop this push.
Yeah, he's going to get consistently slowed by the victory. He's going to at least be able to path make for a little bit, but he's not going to stop a pentakill for Younglin.
Yeah, this Corki champ is nasty. They played that well. It turns out that Nami really is all the peel you need against Alistar, Wukong, and Akali. This is a Hexakill? Oh, maybe not.
And not quite. The Nexus is going to be put on hold for a bit, but Younglin says, all right, guys, we'll end it on the high note. Don't need any more disasters. That'll be game one going to the Babblers.
What a performance from Younglin. One charity mistake, we'll call it, but other than that, almost flawlessly played. He was his whole team's sole win condition and played it out beautifully. His team said, "Yes, Mr. President, we'll go in for you," and he just cleaned everything up. So super well done from him, and we'll see what they have in store for game 2.
Yeah, given that we're on Spectre delay, I am unsure if they are going like they've already had their 2.5 minute break, surely.
2.5 minutes. Yeah, we might be able to go just straight into draft, but looks like they are ready.
And after losing that first game, Mume will choose to be on the blue side.
That's pretty huge. Blue side opens up a lot. I think if I'm correct, they will play something like Shinzao, something like Pantheon. Lee Sin for Pika as well. A lot of really great junglers still available, so they could target the jungle pool heavily. And a lot of strong weak side top laners available still. I don't know if they're playing for like, I guess they're not really valuing top counter pick, right? With blue side. So they will just try and look for the Scion, I think is the best available top weak side champ available.
Yeah, we'll see what they want to do with those blue side power picks and if there is any sort of big red side counters that Babbles likes. But for now, the first phase of bans wrapping up in pretty much the same way. No Karma, no Caitlyn, no Sivir. And then Mume losing Zed and Silas and Mbessa.
Yeah, similar bans to game 1. Ume crucially leaving Lucian open and also taking Varus in phase 1. Almost skipped out entirely on that. We'll see if they answer with the Lucian, but this is pretty good Varus matchup. So Sivir being banned out also makes it pretty hard. Now we drop down to things like Ezreal, Jhin,
Zeke's
I
Harbinger
don't know, like
Kaisa. You know, we could see it. Yeah, Varus definitely a very strong pick. Lucian is up if they want to play it with the Milio. Mume has been the one to do that a lot. Babbles, I don't believe they have too many games on it, and that pick is
goat.
Orn. Are we blind picking Orn on B1?
Is that what it is?
I he just said goat.
Yeah,
I
he just
I
said
don't
goat.
know how to interpret that. I don't think we have a Kindred game, and Kindred's also technically a lamb, so not a goat. But um, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know what this champ is,
I'm
guys.
pretty sure it's Orn. I'd have to imagine. Cause at least for the side of Babos, I mean, he hasn't had an Orn game thus far. We'll see. For now, it is also the Jinx for Younglin. Has been kind of the MO for the side of the Babblers, where they give Younglin a scaling pick with a Smolder with a
that
Jinx. And
that
apparently,
nun pick is spins out, by the way.
oh, XZ. Okay. I see. I see.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense now. The Mundo also makes sense. Mundo is a great anytime Shinzao Wukong is picked, the best thing, in my opinion, is to stonewall it. So it used to be something like Wukong would stonewall Shinzao, but if you'd pick Wukong, it'd be something like Mundo, Malphite, Sejuani, any of these huge like stonewall tanks. So Mundo's a great answer into Shinzao.
Yeah, and it is something that Pika has put in games on. So even though we're kind of dropping down the initial bout of bruisers, like you said, Mundo's still a nice option there. Varus Nautilus going to be going up against the Jinx Lulu. So the Babblers do often like their hyper scaling bot lanes with enchanters. Doesn't matter that they're playing with a sub support, they're still going to attack the game that way. As the champion that we thought that first pick was in the Ornn ends up getting banned in phase number 2.
Yeah, so far I'm liking Mume's draft heavily right now. Varus just immediately the best available AD carry getting snatched up on B1. And Jinx Lulu is really fake into this. Jinx has to take cleanse no matter what, or else she's just dead on every Varus CD. So automatically makes trading in this lane um, non-favorable. And on top of that, you'll never really be able to sustain the Varus poke fully um, as Lulu because you're not like a super huge shielder nor a healer, which means Varus will just be able to make this lane completely non-interactive and pushing. And then on top of that, Nautilus can just engage whenever Lulu uses any of her cooldowns. So super winning drafts from Mume so far. And yep, the Scion, the strongest available. I'm surprised they didn't ban it, but strongest available top laner left for blue side will be Hubbard.
Definitely a strong pick, especially when the Ornn is already off the board. Does provide them with a nice top laner up there. I am curious to see if they are just fully locked in on a tank for Washed, what they want as the mid laner.
Wow.
Oriana is nice. I was thinking that maybe they'd opt for a Rise or an Azir for Pack Me if you're just intending to put your guys behind your big front line and do consistent damage. Oriana, bit more burst oriented, is still very strong and can do consistent damage in a front to back, but thinking that maybe there's other mages that could be better. Either way, it will be the Lady of Clockwork, as now Babel's Babblers need to figure out what they want into the Scion.
Yeah, the consolation Cho'Gath counter pick is it's nice for Babels, but this comp just seems very hard to play. The Jinx will never really be able to kill Mundo Scion without either being extremely ahead or already having a reset, which will be hard because you're playing front to back versus Dr. Mundo Scion, right? Shinzao Talia is really never going to threaten that on an even game state. Zehen might be nice as well. We'll be able to live longer and threaten more, but again, there's nobody really killing the tanks once they hit level 16. Once they have items, they're not behind. it's just so hard winning for Mume, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, Talia will get to hit the tanks a lot, but she can't skip past them with threaded volleys at all. Does really let the carries of Mume walk up with a lot of impunity, and does feel like unless the Nautilus goes a bit too far forward, gives over a reset, unless there's a key Talia shove that picks someone off for a Jinx reset, the Varus and Orianna will be very safe throughout these fights. I am not the biggest Zehen believer, as he feels like unless he's into a very melee comp, he doesn't get to really play the game, which I don't think Varus and Orianna will really let him as he gets to 5-on-5s.
Yeah, I agree. Zahem hasn't really impressed me so far this tournament. We saw the best Zahen so far, probably out of uh L9 Soraka, but even that I believe was not super impressive. I think he's played it a couple times, but yeah, the champ giving Babbles the counter pick into Scion, we really this Zahen needs to do a lot of heavy lifting. Is all we can really say.
Yeah, I'm double checking here. I do believe Babbles has played a Zehen game. They did end up, or they played it twice, and he's lost on it both times. So maybe some misplaced confidence.
Yeah, but I also really like this Ori pick as a whole. I think it's better than Rise in this draft because no one on the side of Babel's Babblers has a reactive dash. Besides Zehen, which is really slow and short distance. Shinzao can only dash into champions. Everyone else is completely stationary, which means Oriana's zone control is insane. Combined with the Arrow of Corruption, it's just incredibly hard to walk anywhere near that team at all.
Yeah, we will see if Mume can get that composition advantage going in the actual game and get us to a game number 3. Take a short break here before starting up game number 2.
Your league game audio is muted.
Hello, everyone. It is time for game number 2 between Mume and Babbles Babblers, and Scion is getting involved early. They scout out the level 1, and already off the bat, Shinzao is dead.
That DMV rivals record first blood, I guess. I don't know if that's actually the record. It might be
Probably.
continuing
At least on the
here.
new season, at least.
Yeah, that was something. Scion getting the cheese. I think they just guessed off of game 1 because of the cheese raptor ward that they tried to do beforehand. So they knew that the jungler would try and go for that. But yeah.
Definitely a nice start for the side of Mume. And Washed on top, definitely just should be fine in this lane, as Scion, him being down there, doesn't really amount to much. We will see both
Oh, sorry.
we will see both junglers go into the bot lane again, towards Younglin, towards Evan.
Younglin having Ghost. Like I said before, I really think Jinx needs cleanse. So he's really trying hard to carry this game with that summoner spell and trying to play every fight. But he will get punished as soon as Evan hits 6. Or even before 6, honestly. Each dredge line route will be pretty massive. So I don't know. It might be a little bit disrespectful, but I guess he needs it to try and carry, huh?
Perhaps, yeah. Like, you're looking at how, yes, in the lane is, okay, Washed is getting a bit low. There's ahead. He'll be fine, though, with his Furnace Shield. But as you think about maybe how the 5-on-5 is going to go, but we've got a 2v1 in mid lane, and Pacquiao forced a flash. Nice, efficient gank from Babbles as he crosses to the bot side.
Now we can see another reason why this jungle matchup is so good for Mundo. Look at that clear. Shinzao just touched mid for like 5 seconds, and this guy is already done with his whole full clear and is running to the Scuttle Crab. So Mundo's clear speed is pretty crazy, and also he would just beat Shinzao everywhere, I guess.
Yeah,
So
to
that's
be
just
fair,
double
Fables
scrub
was
on.
late off of the early death. You know, dying at 10 seconds is a bit
Oh yeah,
consequential
true.
now that minions and camps spawn a lot earlier, but maybe a play in mid, as Pika not able to find the cleaver, but still finds some fleet autos. Does have the canister to immune the shove. Slow in top side, as now flash out from Babels
Oh,
ahead, trying to trade the last of his autos, but Washed on top gets the solo.
that is rough to see. Babos burns his flash and still dies. And this was the counter pick too, so game is already looking pretty rough with the scaling factors considered. It's going to be really hard to get back into this game.
Babels is even gonna show on bot side, or at least cover his bot side as they push out. But Mundo crossed up and got the double scuttle. So very nice for Pika, as he's not even, doesn't even really need to take his first base yet. He can maybe do the little trick where he picks up his first 3 camps on the second clear, recalls, goes to his Krugs with the kind of like extra biscuit you get on your pet, which makes it so that that second clear gives you the empowered smite. Not sure if he even really needs to do that trick if he's double scuttling, but just pretend I sounded smart for a bit there.
You're a genius, Shiv.
Yeah, well researched, well researched. But either way, definitely not the start that the battles really wanted, as Mundo does go back now to pick up that Giant's belt, and they're losing the counter matchup bot, or excuse me, the counter matchup top. The mid lane looked solid for a bit, but then Pika came by and burned Flash off of Please Listen to Me as well. So we'll see if the Babblers can get back in some of these soul lanes, if Shinzao can get aggressive with some of his early game power.
Yeah, again, the draft is just very confusing to me. We picked Lulu into Nautilus, with Jinx Varus as the matchup, so it's not like super great. And then um blinding the Talia and having Sion open, and now the top side losing as well. It just feels like you really drafted yourself into a corner on the Jinx Shinzao 1-2
Oh, but now a
already.
flash
And
in
now we
from Max
see,
Vince does find the dredge line, but Younglin able to use both sums to get away. Gets hit by a fadeaway cleaver, but at least he has his life.
yeah, 1 for 2 flash. I would take that any day of the week. It's so hard for Younglin to play now, and they're level 5, so close to 6. All Pika's got to do is just cycle back down, and they will just be dead on Chains of Corruption.
Yeah, will be the third Scuttle going the way of Pika. Should be able to hit level 6 off of that. And now, there really isn't a chance that Babbles can do much to this Mundo. And with the double flashes blown in bot, would not be surprised to see a Dragon startup for the side of Mume. But maybe Pika thinking, hey, there's camps to be farmed on top side. I don't want to waste my time down here. So he will just go back and cycle through his camps once again.
Yeah, look at a Younglin and Cat just being forced to sit at turret. Life is miserable when playing against Varus in 2026. Anywhere.
Yeah, and especially now that Varus has got his Serrated Dirk and working up towards his first lethality item, going to definitely not get much better down there in the bottom lane. And
Yeah,
meanwhile,
that Bram also doing wonders already in the top lane. Every trade that Bubbles takes is just losing already.
yeah, Son gonna be very difficult to move. Like, he's only gonna interact with AD champs throughout this early game, whether it's the Hen, whether it's Xin Zhao. And even when Talia gets maybe more involved, like, she's not going to be contributing much to get through what is going to be an absolute tank of a Scion.
Now, I will say that this mid matchup is going pretty good for Talia. Typically, you know, this is supposed to be Ori-sided, but Uptech showing the kids that Talia can definitely win this matchup.
Yeah, only a
So
couple
there
days
is
ago.
a point of saving grace there.
Yeah, so it was nice. I mean, please listen to me. Definitely did not look great in the lane in game number 1. As Victor into Akali, it was Pacquiao building up like 20 CS lead without even getting like much jungle attention. But now it's time to scrap over the dragon. Nice shockwave there from Pacquiao. Immediate flash out from Lee Sin to me. And now that dragon fight becomes quite a bit harder for the side of the Babblers, but they are still walking forward for it. Weaver's Wall is not going to be doing too much. There's the dredge line just to keep Younglin at bay. Now 2-man knockup as the dragon is secured, and now the Varus damage starts to pile through. The
Oh, man,
chains spread, and Younglin is going to drop as well. Babble's trying to use the crescent guard for a bit of defense, but it is all Mume in the bot side.
that might just have been game right there. We
It's
see
9 minutes.
exactly.
We need to build that drama. We need to keep them invested. That's our job. Okay, we can't make correct statements about the state of the
You're right.
game.
You're right.
We,
You're
we,
right.
we need to build it up. It's not looking good. You got to use proper caster vocabulary.
Please don't fire me. But that is exactly why the Jinx does need cleanse. Like she wasn't even the one that got hit by Chains of Corruption, but she just couldn't get out of it with no coast available either. So, like, in not having that summoner spell as something like Jinx Aphelios or any immobile AD carry is like, to me, like very disrespectful. Not to mention that Max Vince just straight up hit the 2 dredge lines from Narnia, so well played by him. But yeah, they're everything from here should be pretty straightforward. Just land the engagement abilities and let your tanks run straight onto them. And we'll see what they go from there.
Yeah, it is a 3.5k gold lead for the side of Mume as Flash even burned in top side. Shinzao does get the grubs, but then has to immediately flash away from Pacquiao and Pika. So at least able to get something back. Not a perfect game, 10 minutes in, but still very Mume favored. And I mean, game one was even for maybe like 20 minutes before stuff finally broke open. But now please listen to me. Going to evade the cleaver. And does get a shove, but there's no unraveled earth. So we just
Ooh.
shove to the Oriana in to be in range to kill us. And that's a nice kill for PACU.
I think if Please Lee Sin to me just kept running, he would have been out of there. He procced the phase rush, but he went for the seismic shove onto Pack U. So a little bit confusing there. He definitely could have gone out.
Meanwhile, Washed on top, just shrugging off the damage from Babbles on the Zehen. And again, we pan down to the bot lane where Younglin and Cat have been taking a lot of poke from the Yomu's completed Varus.
Oh, I just noticed Evan doesn't have tier. So he's going like a full lethality without Manamune build, which is a little interesting. I don't know if he'll have the gas to really keep firing later on into the game. I don't really see lethality Varus without tier these days, so not quite sure how good it is, and I don't think it is. Maybe that's their saving grace. They have to just keep dodging abilities until Varus runs out of mana.
Perhaps. There's always an angle. There's always an angle. But either way, it is Pika's Mundo now moving down here. It is a very big CS lead in the jungle as well. Something we definitely don't see all too often these days, especially with the pets kind of equalizing a lot of clears, as now Pika just gets to go around, say hello behind the enemy tower. Definitely doesn't have much to worry about down there as he just makes sure that Babbles cannot get in and influence the Varus Nautilus lane.
There's a 2-level lead in the top lane. Babbles does have Sunred Sky finished, but Watch the Top is just standing strong. Don't think he'll die to an all-in necessarily, so good stuff so far in the top lane.
Right, and we were talking last game about Babbles and his ability to be weak side on things like a Scion. Well, this time, Washed on top, his bot lane is incredibly strong. From the get-go of draft, you know that the bot lane is going to get the attention. Your jungler is going to be clearing down there. Not only has Washed on top not given anything up as weak side Scion, but he's been the aggressor for portions of this lane and can just continue to trade out with this ahead.
Yeah, Pika might be looking top lane right now.
As he make his way over, there's no flash on Zehen. The ult hits from the Scion. A bit of grim deliverance for some kind of escape, but Pika is always giving chase. So that should be enough autos. Maybe we can even get PACU an assist. Maybe we can even get PACU a kill. As into the definitely not Bloodwell goes Zehen. He will try to find something back. Decent damage onto Oriana, but just delays the inevitable as long as he can. Meanwhile, in bot side, forced wild growth out of Cat on the Lulu. And now Weaver's Wall, as all that time on top side means maybe there's something to be done on bot. The shove misses. The Unraveled Earth is late either way. So Max, Vince, and Evan are able to get out.
Yeah, crucially, Evan is able to save Flash. I feel like Please Listen to Me could have been able to force it out if he landed his abilities, but only Max Vince has to Flash, which is pretty good considering that they just got to pick top lane and they didn't lose drag at all.
Yeah, Pika is down here, still has his ult, as does the Oriana who just TP'd. So they will still have serve over Dragon, even though they were making that multi-man play in top side.
Yeah, it's not often that Zehen doesn't go try Trinity Force first item. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. I know there's some other variations of builds for Zehen. I don't play the champ that much either. But just from seeing, I feel like Thunder Sky is pretty decent, especially for their purposes, but mid lane.
Yeah, flash out from the shockwave, but the blunt force of Mundo is enough to get that kill and open up likely a second dragon for Mume.
Pretty dire map state here, Shiv. Oh, the Grim Deliverance.
Yeah, it's going to be an attempt at least, I suppose, getting the wave in on the side of Babbles as Chemtech Dragon is secured. So, Scion still holding strong, but I know we questioned the blind Talia within the context of the draft, within the context of the champions they were staring down. I am concerned about it in the context of Please Listen to Me's match history. Doesn't look particularly well practiced on this champion. I mean, aside from just like, you missed some shoves, that's going to happen. It's the fact that the E's aren't even down for a lot of these shoves. The timing seems off. The direction of shoves have also been a bit wonky at times. Don't know if we just need to put that on normal cast for this game. But definitely a rough game 2 for Please Listen to Me.
Dang, Shiv suddenly became a personal investigator, huh? I do kind of agree though. I feel like the Talia has not been great. Dredgeline comes out and chains of corruption. He might just
Yeah,
die.
he's gone. So at least the spotlight gets to move over to the bot lane as Evan is getting a bit engaged on his Here Comes Weaver's Wall from Please Listen to Me. Will be able to track down Evan most likely for this kill. As he just needs to hit some threaded volleys. Just needs to hit some shoves. He's delaying the death timer. It's called staggering as Max Vince is being chased up the river. But will get some assistance from Pacquiao. Babel's trying to re-engage. Does get the kill. And maybe just playing some time for a Sundered Sky. But the damage is still there for Oriana. So now Please Listen to Me has been hit up by the train as Washed on Top ults into the bot lane. Hits the stun and is on a killing spree on the Scion.
It's okay. Babel's Beyblades are on the board. They got to at least. They're no longer Owen. That's all that matters.
Yeah, at least able to get some of that confidence back, as looked like they were at least able to strike something in that bot lane with Evan and Max getting very aggressive. They would have punished them out a bit. We do now see the tier come through on the Varus, so it'll be a late completion on the Man Immune, but a completion nonetheless eventually.
Yeah, he just wanted that Ghost Blade really badly. I respect it. Ton of move speed. So we'll stack up, and we will have Menemune eventually, which means their win con of running Varus out of mana is now gone. So they will have to look for something else.
And Babel's going to try to hold on as Youngling gets shockwaved in mid, and just in a straight up 1v2, Pacquiao is confident to go for it, but now that hubris is going to be his demise, except when Become Lightning misses, Zap missing as well. Now Weaver's Wall comes in as Please Listen to Me, puts down the rocks, will be able to get the kill, but now Pika is maybe hunting here, gets the dosage, but, you know, now Please Listen to Me has some space, hits the shove over the rocks, and eventually maybe we can kill the Mundo, but that day will not be today.
Yeah, Mundo just tanking HP for fun to clean up the fight. It took the kitchen sink and the whole house next door, but they eventually did get Pacquiao. Credit to him, though. Great movement, so lived the entire time he possibly could have. But that is a shutdown, an important one, nonetheless, for Babel's Beybladers.
Yeah, able to get that shutdown as well. Still plenty of those to collect. They're on a Scion and a Mundo that will take a very long time to die. We'll eventually see Leandries from Please Listen to Me to try to help wear down these tanks, but it is a very, very uphill battle against this fully, even though they're fully armored out for the Scion, for the Mundo. Talia does just kind of take too long to get through some of the tankier members.
Yeah, it doesn't even have Leandries finished yet. Maybe when they finish that, they'll do a little bit of chip damage to Scion and Mundo. But yeah, they're really playing for that. And Infinity Edge looks like it's pretty far away too, so they don't have a reliable way to kill the tanks. Youngling doesn't have any sub.
Onto Youngling, chains are gonna connect, so that Jinx is out of luck. But Grim Deliverance means Varus is dead as well. Now on the backline, it's gonna be a depth charge onto the Lulu as she's forced out of the fight. Shockwave only connects onto Babbles, and for now, the Babblers are fighting back. There goes the blood well as the shove is going to connect on the Orianna, but Pika is just refusing to die. Flash forward from Babbles trying to find something on the back line, but it's not meant to be. Eventually, the tanks just get to move forward. They move into position, and the blast plant will not even send the Mundo away with the canister. So Max Vince rewards himself with the kill, and Mume will award themselves with the dragon.
9K at 20 minutes. Probably gonna be more once Watch the Top takes down more plates on this turret. But again, not having the cleanse. It wasn't even a cleanse issue at this point. I think they just kind of stood on the same screen as Mume for one too many seconds, and they were like, they're looking at us a little funny, so let's just go run at them, and they killed them just straight up like that.
Yeah, the gold lead continuing to get out of hand. I may have to say those words instead of saying it's not looking good, but at least Babbles is getting a objective bounty up in the top side. Please listen. Is Shockwaved back? And now Pika is going to try to move on in. The last second shove may help them kill off Pacquiao. That's a nice find from Lee Sin to me, as now Pika could be caught out. Has to take the shirt off to get some healing, but eventually he's getting worn on down. Flash the other side of the blast plant, and they get the shutdown on the Lulu.
Tragedy has struck. Hey, at least Lulu will have Morello's or whatever she's building. It's looking like a Lulu carry game from Cat.
Maybe. Oh, that is gold. You definitely would have liked to go on to Younglin's Jinx, as feels like he was put down a ton in lane, and even still, any sort of comeback possibility rests on him. Does at least get to that Infinity Edge, but it is still a very tall task to kill up the triple armor plus steel cap Scion, the double armor plus steel caps Mundo, all while there's the possibility that they are carrying a AoE shockwave on top of them. So
yeah, this Jinx is really gonna need 7 items to do something. 2 Thorn Mails and a Frozen Heart being completed on Mume. Like, Jinx will just kill herself from autoing like anyone.
The Ramus treatment.
Yeah, this is not gonna be pretty for Younglin. Does have both sums up, so I mean, I guess he can live and just try and run away without autoing. And hopefully some antics from Babbles and Please Listen to Me work, but maybe never
well, they're
know.
gonna get up to some antics with the Zehen. Immediate depth charge to try to disrupt the fight, but as is the Crescent Guard, Lee Sin joins on the Weaver as well, but they're just gunning it for Younglin on the side of Mume. He's able to stay alive. Massive shockwave onto 3, and that should be an easy victory for Mume. 3-0. A dredge line connects from Max Vince. Nice job by Lee Sin to get the rocks down, get the shove away, but with just the carries alive on the side of the Babblers, it will be Baron for Mume.
Yeah, Babel's trying to look for anything at all, but just runs into the decimating smash. I respect the effort and the attempts, but it's just too hard to bust through that wall right now. Mundo still has ult available, so just when you thought he would go down, he has another life.
Yeah, Max Vince even blocking the Mega Death Rocket just to make sure that the objective is locked up, that 11k gold lead stays squarely in the favor of Mume. We do have Please Listen to Me pushing out in bot, trying to reach that Leandries. Should be able to at least have that before the upcoming dragon fight.
Well, at least we get a 3-game series, and at this point, we should be Babel should be thinking about what the draft priority should be for next game. I'm not trying to say that the game is over. Please don't fire me.
Sounds an awful lot like you think. Oh God, yeah.
The chains are corrupted. But yeah, I mean, a lot of powerful champions were removed this game. Specifically, there's nothing like super strong left in top lane. Varus is gone. Um, Orion and Talia, both huge champions in meta. So a lot of powerful picks are gone, which means in game 3 things might be volatile in draft. Right off the bat, I think red side will be very valuable, and we'll have to see who picks it. But um, I'm also not really sure what else Wash that top plays. I don't know him very well. If he's a good counter pick player, I know he plays in Vesa, but like besides that,
Oh,
I'm
but
not really sure.
Fables is going to be able to get on top of PACU, but doesn't find the second W. Meanwhile, his backline is under duress. The Jinx able to kite away for now, has the wild growth, but meanwhile, the Shin Zhao is going to be caught and taken down. PACU on a rampage as Pleases and gets off on the wrong side of the wall. Pika's now going to be able to move forward and just do whatever he pleases. Zahen trying to flash in, make some kind of magic happen, but the well has run dry, and he will be taken down. No one dies on the side of Mume as they take out 3. And, I mean, Evan and PACU are low, so I don't think it's going to be a game ender.
Yeah, they will still opt to push S5 though. Might be an opportunity here coming in with the bot wave. Midway will be there in 2 seconds, but no matter what, that will be Soul going over at least. And also, please lease into me with the quad cosplay, jumping in straight into the enemy on the wall. I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah, gotta try something. Gotta make some kind of miracle work. See if you can get any big shove, any big multi-man knockup. But Infernal Soul is now on the map, and Babbles is not going to be able to get through this Scion to any chance of a steal. And the Super Mega Death Rocket expended as well, as Mume did actually take a base before going to the Dragon, so should be a locked up Infernal Soul soon enough.
Oh my god, the Scion movement. Yeah, if anything at all, Babel's Beyblades will have a few super waves to farm before Mume starts coming to knock on their front door. So, some extra supers to farm up, and they'll have a last stand potentially as Mume starts moving over to the bot side inhib. We'll push this one down first as top has been pushed out further.
Yeah, Pika is just going to move forward like you called out earlier. Level 3 ultimate makes this Mundo very, very difficult to take down. As Shockwave is there, beautifully done by PACU. Younglin does not get a chance to fire back. As now Zahen trying to do something on the back line. PACU is able to evade him, goes dominating. Shove is nice onto Evan, but it's not going to mean much of anything. Mume with an absolute statement game in game number 2. It was over perhaps from minute 9, some people were saying, as that is going to bring us to a game number 3 between Mume and Babblers as they go for a bit of tower diving under the fountain.
Another Lulu shut down.
That 1K, it's in the bank account. We can carry that over to the next game, right? You can invest in the 401k.
That's the interest. That's the interest right there. Yeah, absolutely flawless execution from draft to even minute 1. Watch that top predicting Pika's movement and setting up the decimating smash before minions even spawned, I believe. So just flawlessly executed this game. Super well done. Game 3 is going to be a banger.
Start to finish, good stuff from Mume. We'll see what interesting picks and special tricks that the Babblers can cook up to try to close out the series. We'll take a short break before game number 3. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 3. Mume having a very convincing bounce back game after the game number 1 loss to even us up and get us to a game number 3. Some different bans from the first phase, Jin and Swain hitting the board, which means that Mbessa is on the table and immediately locked in for Babbles.
Really powerful blue side pick. I did see the Jin being swapped from Ambessa, so I thought that they would respect and ban the Jin on 3. But going for Swain instead, I don't know who on Babblers is a big Swain player, but Zaya Rakan as the immediate answer. Spicy, I like it.
Yeah, Zaya definitely something a lot of folks like into those like insta divers, like the Mbessa, like the Vi, where it's like, okay, if you want to just R on top of me, I'll use R to buy myself space, bring back the feathers. But it's gonna be some aggressive bot lane duos here with the Ash Milio locked in for the Babbles.
Ash Milio is a classic. This was strong like 2 DMVs ago. A lot of teams were playing this combo, maybe 3, honestly. But um, finally, Renekton being the answer into Ambessa. But important to note that Ambessa can be flexed in jungle, so this opens up counterpick top. They might have to ban to protect their Renekton in case this is Ambessa jungle. Um, but yeah, Zyra Rakan being locked in early um, is not super great in this meta where a lot of ADs are viable. So having something that like is very linear like Zaya, where she'll just get hard outranged, um, is not super strong again. And then Babbles is a Singed player. I've seen it once before, so respect Singed, man. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, so definitely respecting that Mbessa jungle. Meanwhile, that opens up maybe the Babblers to ban out some of those powerful junglers. They didn't want Diana in game number 2, and they don't want it in game number 3 either. Pika has also played some interesting stuff. Has brought out a Nefiri so far this DMV. I don't know if you want to get that spicy, especially when, like, if you're playing Nefiri Renekton topside. I feel like you can just slam Malphite or really any tank. And Ornn is still up as we move on to see what Mume want on their 4th pick.
Yeah, honestly, I think Mume might want a Malphite. Um, Pika, pretty great Lee Sin player. I've seen it before. But Malphite has just such incredible value into Ashmilio and also Ambessa. We'll go with Rek'Sai.
Ah.
This champ, I'm not too convinced by Rek'Sai in this current meta. I feel like any other 80 bruiser just does his job better at the moment.
Yeah, especially in jungle where you're not going to really get the gold to be the tanky nuisance that top lane Rek'Sai can be. Definitely a bit interesting. As now on the side of the Babblers, they will do Volibear. So far, the one time they've picked Volibear, it has been jungle rather than top. So we'll see how they want to allocate those bruises on the top side. As now for Please Listen to Me, does have some options. He's played Vex, he's played Hui. As, you know, both those able to just contribute from the range. But right now it feels like maybe a bit of disconnect in the Babblers composition. You've got the Mbess and Volibear that really just want to get in and dive the back line. And now a Hui Ash Milio that wants to kind of kite back and play safe throughout those fights.
Yeah, individually, their champs do make a lot of sense into Mume's champions, but as a whole, I agree it's a little bit disconnected. The Hui does round it out a little bit by leaning it a bit more into Milio and Ash, and kind of Volibear's strength with some setup, with some long range, and with some utility and lockdown. The final champ being Azir in R5 Game 3 is pretty interesting. I think this matchup is not super easy mid, so we'll have to see. But also, Azir Rek'Sai, not, you know, a super popular mid jungle combo. So that will be a little interesting. I guess since Rek'Sai does shore up some of Azir's early game weaknesses, but that is going to be a lot of heavy lifting late game that PACU has to do.
Yeah, I mean, the ult is definitely be very nice to peel away the Mbessa, peel away the Volley Bear. It is also like Hwei has been a pick that people like into Azir. Like people like the Zarets, Ziggs, like these poke champions that can outrange the Emperor. So been interesting that Mume electing to opt into that. I think so far, Pakmi has had a very strong series, and we'll see if he's able to do that on this Azir as well.
Yeah, if that is a Volibear top, then it will be. Or sorry, if that is Volibear jungle, it will be very good for Mume. But if that's a Volibear top, it will be very rough for Mume. I think Rek'Sai does pretty well into Bessa early, but as the game goes on, and Bessa will just have infinitely more value. Scales harder, does more damage, just straight up more easy access. Um, so it would make a lot of sense in theory for this Volibear to go jungle, or sorry, top lane. Um,
Yeah. At
Looks like
least.
it will be Volibear jungle.
Yeah, it does look like it is Babels on the Volley Bear. So they first picked that Mbessa for the top lane, and that is where she will be up against the Renekton. Not, I'm curious if you have any thoughts on that matchup. It's been a while since we've seen Mbessa with her getting banned away a lot. Renekton's maybe fallen down on the priority boards himself as well.
Uh, this is classically and notoriously Mbessa's hardest meta matchup. It's protected for like every single time. You'll never in pro have an Mbessa that will be going into a Renekton unprotected. There's got to be some other huge mistake that happened in draft for that to happen. And Washa top is definitely a good top laner. So I've we need to keep our eyes on top a lot. I feel like it will be a little bit rough for Babbles to get through this. So we'll see.
And game number 3 immediately begins with a pause, but either way, we are out onto the Rift for this third deciding game between Mume and Babbles Babblers. Each of these teams looking to get to the middle of the standings and improve to 2-2 here in this winter split.
Oh, Shiv, your League game audio is muted too. I think I got you. But yeah, should be an exciting one. Both junglers looking to pave the way, even though this top lane is so volatile. I feel like a big principle in having Ashe Melio is that they will be fine independently, and they're not an easy lane to gank as well. So I really would want Babels to be paving towards top lane here.
Oh, and
Um,
Milio's gonna early face check. Takes a
yeah.
good bit of damage from the Xayah Rakan duo. But now the Ashe able to trade back, and Ghost is popped by Younglin as they're going to continue to trade this out.
All the
The
soccer ball.
soccer ball connects, Younglin sidestepping the entrance, and it's not as fast as game 2, but it's still first blood. Make it a second for Younglin.
That is tragic. I think Evan just had to flash the soccer ball and he's good. But a little bit slow or not expecting the all in level 1. is will be their downfall. That's a huge kill to happen. Minute 1 already.
Yeah, it does mean summoners blown across the board and bot side to see if those junglers are able to do something about it. As we did talk a bit about the top lane not being particularly great for Mbessa. Not going to be much better early on as Wash on top getting that early priority. Perfectly fine being on his own.
Yeah, Babbles will be in hell now. That wave is gonna start bouncing, and then he'll just try and push it in, but I don't think Watch the Top will just give him the crash, so that could potentially be frozen, and Babbles will be stuck wanting his jungler to be up there within the next minute.
Yeah. The Hawk shot goes out, so information is known that Rek'Sai is completing her full clear. I think back in the day, we'd see Rek'Sai do things like the 3 red side camps into snaking to that back side of whichever lane she's on and then trying to burrow over the big wall, but will be a full clear from Pika. And with Azir getting mid lane and cheating down as well, even though the Ashe Milio are the ones with priority, we'll see if there's a big scuffle for this first crab. They're going to go for the engage. Knockups are nice as Azir's going to slide in, make it an uneven fight. And Evan's able to pick up the kill and a failed flash from Babels. Oh, it was looking so nice for the bot lane until we choose to throw the game on Le Crab.
Oh my god, please listen to me.
And he's going to lay down some paint to try to get out of this one. And we'll at least be able to walk it out. Not under too much threat, but see what Rek'Sai can at least do early. Gets the double knockup with the Unburrow. No flash. Or excuse me, there was a flash from the Milio, but it wasn't enough to get him out. And then Babbles' flash is best left unsaid.
Yeah, these teams just love to scuffle, especially with this Ashe. They're just looking for so much action early, but Cat just not respecting the Rek'Sai burrow and not flashing it, and just ends up getting knocked up twice and one shot right off the bat. And then Babels with the unfortunate flash loses it and also donates a kill. The bot lane state is still pretty bad, but Evan does get bailed out pretty significantly. But yeah, just a huge turn of events down there.
Yeah, we did see Babels try to make an attempt towards topside as Azir is getting a lot of stabs in. Weasley Sin still has TP, so not going to be too rough. Lane is not in the best state. Babels spending some time up top. Didn't have an angle, just ended up putting down a ward that Pika ended up clearing. So we'll continue to be the Renekton, always pushing up in the top side.
Yeah, Watch the Top is just constantly calling the Meek inside of Babbles' wave. So he's not letting the wave ever push back out, which is bailing out Babbles pretty significantly. You see that just again, the whole wave is just dropping, and Babbles is just able to stay under turret and collect constantly, which is pretty good for him. And Bessa will eventually outscale him, but Renekton could just stonewall him for so long, so just being able to farm under turret with no pressure is pretty huge.
Yeah, does like being able to soak up that early power that the Renekton has, and still it is down 10 farm, but definitely could be a lot worse. See the same story on the bottom side of the Rift with a little more than a 10 CS lead for Younglin and Cat, and Babels is working his way down here as well. The Milo Campfire empowering Younglin to go forward. Soccer ball kick didn't interrupt the Rakan, so he's able to slip away. Rek'Sai maybe looking for a play in mid as Please Listen to Me gets the fear, but now Flash and Burrow onto the Hui. He's standing tall though, and with the Spiraling Despair could find a return kill. He's got a Q armed, hits it, and the Comet gets the solo kill in the 1v2.
Dominus popped here. Yeah, Paki just didn't respect and didn't flash the Comet either. I mean, something else might have killed him, but yeah, Pika even burned the flash for that attempt, and Please Listen to Me just 1v2s it with ease.
As now we have Root Call in the bot lane, and Cat maybe stepping up a bit too far forward again. Flash over the soccer ball as Evan is on the chase, but not able to complete the kill. Younglin will be able to chase him down a bit. Now has Ranger's focus, sidesteps the knockup, and maybe Younglin, he's not able to get the last auto. The quiver heal also helping out.
So close. Evan having a Berserker's Greaves. Oh, Pika top.
Oh, and that's going to be an early flash from the Mbessa. Babels is up here. Does smite the crab for level 6, but now here comes the Void Rush from Pika, but maybe he's gone too far. Now has to try to trade out against Babels and clear the way for his Renekton to pick up the kill. The Stormbringer is not able to follow the Land Shark, and Pika gets out.
It's Land Shark versus Cocaine Bear, and the Stormbringer missing means Pika gets out of there. That's pretty bad for Babbles. Loses 2 waves and they lose the fights. This Renekton's looking a little scary.
Now we'll see if the mid and bot side for the Battlers can really pull them through. Was very critical of Lee Sin to me in game number 2, but getting a very nice kill in the 1v2. Stayed calm against the Rek'Sai flash. Umbro didn't burn his own flash. Azir never went too aggressive for any sort of shuffle. So good discipline, good aim from Please Lee Sin to me to pick up the kill in the mid lane and get himself in a solid position in this lane.
Yeah, so Azir is seen as like kind of the Varus of mid lane. If you don't have flash up, you're just dead. Or you're gonna have to burn it because he can wall you halfway across the lane from halfway across the lane. So anytime that's up, there's a huge threat, and you can just burn mid flash constantly on a stationary champion like Hwei. It's just a kill on every wall. So him being able to save flash in that 1v2 is so huge. Now he can absorb even more pressure and just play as a huge like bait for his team, constantly draw pressure in, and also be able to give space for his team while doing a ton of damage as well.
Yeah. And I will say the bot lane pressure is stacking up as well. They're going to move over, try to pick up this first dragon, but Pika is maybe going to look for it. Enchanted Crystal Arrows, they maybe look for a turn. Nothing really to be done there. And it will be dragon to Babels. Now lurking around in mid, the Fear does miss, as does the Spiraling Despair. So Pacquiao able to slide that one. Lee Sin did use his flash to try to go for that play. So now there's definitely an angle for Azir to start sliding, shuffling, and delivering that immobile Hwei to his Rek'Sai.
Yeah, and we can see the Rek'Sai is hovering right around the corner. So Please Listen to Me does recognize it and has to back off. Pika hovering around the corner, looking into the top side now. Good respect.
Yeah, so that may open up an opportunity to really even out that mid lane for the Azir, force Hwei onto the back foot. And, I mean, across the board, the other lanes pretty heavily in one side's favor, as Max Vince taking a lot of damage from the Ashmilio that are being very strong lane bullies down here. A 40 CS lead for Younglin, and top side just flipped, where the Renekton has opened up a 25 CS lead against this Mbessa. We've got Babels now coming on down here on the Volibear, prowling forward, gets the Thundering Smash, but the Charm and Battle Dance from Max Vince will get him to safety.
Yeah, super well played from Max Vince. The arrow was not available, so there was not enough lockdown. Here we go.
Yeah, there's the play we called out, as Please Listen is not going to be able to turn around this 1v2. Void Rush forward from Pika to clean that one up, but Babels is down here again on the bot side. Vince is going to be able to Battle Dance away. Arrow comes down, hits the Xayah, as now here comes the ulti from Babels. Needs another auto. Will be able to kill it for combo. Now he's rooted underneath the tower and gives over a trade kill to the Ignite of Max Vince.
Dude, Max Vince is... these supports are just eating both these games. They're just getting all the kills. But yeah, exactly what we called out before. As soon as you lose that flash, you are just kill on sight when Azir has wall. It's so hard to play. And even if Azir is, like... Even if you have flash up, if he's burning this cooldown before the objective, you see there's 2.5 minutes still left before dragging. It's so worth to just send it every single time. You build so much tempo. You get this Azir so much space in a losing matchup. So it's just very hard to play against it.
And now he's got that Nasher's Tooth. So definitely at a very strong point here for the Azir for him to just stab away at the Hui, even without going for super aggressive slides and shuffles. You have Stridebreaker and Eclipse finished across the top side as well. So that top area of the map going to be very strong as Pika is back in the mid
Oh,
lane.
man.
And once again, the Hui is going to get picked on. That's another kill going the way of Mume.
I feel like please listen to me definitely misplayed that. He should have just feared the Rek'Sai. He could have gotten out of there. He knew that there was no wall still available. But a good move by Max Vince. Maybe they could have secured it still. Somehow 2-level lead now for Washed at top on top lane.
Yeah, you called out maybe wanting to flex this Mbessa to jungle to avoid this matchup. They end up saying, no, we're confident in Babel's up there with this pick. We think it's going to outscale, but right now it is not going great for him. We do see Younglin continuing to get aggressive in the bot lane this tower, losing a lot of plates. And we did see in game number 1, Younglin was a big part of the victory for the Babblers. Game number 2, didn't really get to contribute much. So definitely a good sign for his team that he is the one with the advantage, with the gold lead here for his team.
Yeah, Ashe does have a lot of value against every single champ other than Azir, which is pretty good. Having champ value against 4 out of 5 champs is very useful. 4-man bot here.
Oh, the charm doesn't find the knockup. Max Vince whiffs. Now tower's disabled by Babels as they move in to take out the Rakan. They take out the Lover as well. Pacquiao looking for a slide. Hits the shuffle onto 2. Flash out from Cat. Can't stay alive even with the heal. So the Hui might have been first, but the Azir shows up with the TP. Now trading with that Nashers. Please listen, has found Pika. Will get the shutdown. Get some revenge for all those mid lane plays. Pacquiao should be okay as some spells miss from the Hui, but he's in a 1v2. Now sliding forward onto the soldiers. Pacquiao picks up that one,
God.
and he's going to send the Hui packing. A double for Pacquiao on the Azir.
Oh my god. Pacquiao putting on his best Faker impression. Solo carrying that entire fight. A great wall to clean up 2 people and forcing more flashes out. And then on the back end, mind controlling, please listen to me, flashing into where his E was going. So he even landed that damage. And then just cleaning them up on the back end to, like, almost perfectly played by him. Dominus popped.
Oh, is Wash on top looking for a solo kill himself as he flashes forward and all of a sudden kills across the board and a dragon for Mume.
It was looking so good for Mume. They got 2 kills under the turret. They killed both the lovers duos. They had a position on dragon. They were so ready, but they just stretched a little bit too far.
Yeah, and now Cat is caught up a bit too far as well. Easy pick for Max Vince to convert on. Dragon and that extra kill for Mume.
They had they had the advantage in their hands, but just a little bit too much. And Pacquiao punished, and they lose the dragon as well on top of that. It was so close. It was so close to greatness. Oh,
yeah, and then Azir really able to turn it around. Is now in the mid lane. Please Lee Sin gets the ult as a bit of defense. Meanwhile, Babel's trying to fight out with the Milio, but I mean, everyone's here to cover. There's 4 members of the red team down here, and they're going to look for maybe a bit more as Max Vince lands a knockup. Look at this generous top laner. Transitioning his lead to his bot lane as he just leaves. They're now going to try to go aggressive on the tower. Enchanted Crystal comes on out. Babbles hits the stun onto Evan, but there's the knockup. The Volley Bear trying to just defend and let his Ashe fire, but they don't have the damage. They aren't able to find anything back. As this tower should still fall now. Void Rush comes out as the Shark is going to sink her fangs into that AD carry. And Washed on top, even able to get the kill.
Yeah, Mume just winning out on all sides of the map now. 6k gold lead out of thin air. It's a huge swing for them. Pacquiao being able to catch the top wave, and then Watch the top even ran down bot lane. He didn't even TP, he just ran straight and still got the kills and still took the turret. Like, I mean, a good rotation, I guess, but it feels a little disrespectful at the same time.
a little bit. But either way, a very good position for the side of Mume. The Azir, super strong. The Renekton, 2 items. This Rek'Sai pick that we were skeptical of in the jungle, 4-1 and 7, has gotten involved in a ton of early action to get this lead. Use the champion when she is most powerful, as Herald is going to be another objective to the side of Mume, as they're going to look to continue to push the envelope.
Yeah, you called it out in draft, Shiv. These champions are individually good counter picks or individually like strong as champions. Both Ashmilio are good into Zyra, Hui is good into Azir, Volibear is good into Rek'Sai. But as a whole, their 5v5 team comp does not really work. It's very dysfunctional. They do 2 different things. They face different sides of the fight. So the simpler to execute comp with simple win cons just wins out in those big fights.
Thank you. Thank you. I will be accepting the Oscar immediately. As now, the side of Washed on top is... I don't know. I couldn't think of... Like, we'll move on. Washed on top still lurking with his team. Not in the side lane, even though there is a minute and a half to Dragon. We do at least have 2 items on Youngland for the Ashe, so... Yes, the Ashe damage is not going to be at the level of this Game 1 Corki, but if he can stay alive, try to kite out the Rek'Sai, kite out the Renekton, can definitely get going in a positive way. I mean, at least with the Campfire, you can also maybe contest the Azir a little bit, but with Nashor's Spellslinger Shoes and Shadow Flame, Pacquiao is probably like the strongest team fighter at our current stage in the game.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the Yuntals for the Ashe. For Youngland, specifically because he was winning so hard, I feel like he would definitely have the money for that. And I've also seen this Essence Reaver Fiend Hunter Bolts build.
Okay.
It's low-key, and it low-key was like kind of doing damage. So maybe that could have worked. I don't know if Youngland's seen that. But yeah, anything besides the Kraken into Runans, that might be like the lowest possible DPS build you can get. I guess it's fine on multiple targets, but when you have something like a Hui and a Volibear that already are very good at AoE and playing long fights, it's really on you to just kill whoever that they're hitting.
Yeah, well, now he's trying to hit Evan. We're going to have Renekton join up on the fight. Nice stun comes out as Vince onto the backline gets a 2-man knockup. Volibear is able to retreat for now, and Bessa flying into the backline, and Evan is dead. Pika on the other side is going to get taken out. Babbles is looking for an angle onto the backline, but he gets shuffled on back. It will be Pacquiao and Wash on top still alive, but a 1 fight for the side of the Babblers.
Yeah, there was no Azir at the start of the fight, and now he has no wall either. They took their opportunity to just all in, and it worked. Well played from the side of Mume. Or Babel's Babblers.
Yeah, I mean, Pacquiao even has to flash away from that as he gets hit with a Severing Bolt. Please listen to me also at the Burner's Flash, as he got a bit worried about the tower damage. But still, nice job from the side of the Babblers. They let the dive come into them. Younglin's able to kite it out with both of his summoners. And takes a while with this build, but does dish out enough damage to take out the Rek'Sai. They get Mbessa in on top of the Zai, who already had to burn her ult, so well played. That time in the 2 different modes that their team fight has. Although back onto the map, Mume still holding a solid 4K gold lead.
Yeah, now Youngland has to play respectful. He has no flash available. But that fight bought their team 2K gold back in the deficit and an extra 5 minutes as they picked up another Baron. So Youngland should be content to just give up the map a little bit now and play a little bit safer, as his position is a lot harder to play with no flash. But a huge bailout is what they needed.
Will definitely help keeping them in this game, but Pika on the Rek'Sai, gonna use that Tremor Sense to know that there is no one really contesting. Not enough members up here to stop them from the invade, stop them from taking away the Volibear's camps. Meanwhile, on the
I
sides,
mean,
it will be Hui versus that Azir. We feel like, even though the Hui has that range at this point, if there's any extended trades where Azir gets to auto, he's going to easily be able to dictate throughout the lane, can even put up the Sun Disc to help continue pushing if he so desires.
yeah, look at how Mume just completely controlled the blue side of Babel's Beyblers. Exactly how you do it. How to choke out the opponent from their side of the map with an advantage with pushing sides. And this Volibear Babels doesn't have anything to farm at all. You can see Rek'Sai's entire jungle is still up, but Pika's probably just cycling Babels' jungle over and over.
Yeah, but now Renekton goes in for a bit onto Babels as, like I said, he's got no real camps to farm up on this side.
Yeah, look how homeless this bear is. It's that sad bear meme. There even is one. He can't even go to his bot side because Azir will take those Krugs in like 2 seconds. So if I'm Babels right now, I'll just be yelling at my team to protect the Raptors with everything.
Yeah, he'll try to scrap together what he can. Azir is at least basing, so he can perhaps get to those Krugs on bot side. And Volibear and Rek'Sai, both champions that you feel like very strong early on, but as they get later into the game, they probably are going to just give up camps to their actual carries, as their main purpose is to just go in, CC someone, and then die. But this game, I mean, Pika is fairly strong on the Rek'Sai. Volibear has become a pretty solid threat throughout even the mid game with some of the new items like Dusk and Dawn. So Volibear not quite going to be able to survive much on low econ, as Baron is instantly started up. Volibear did base, Hui did base on bot side as well, so not going to be much of a contest. Azir will rip right through that Baron, and it should be an easy secure for Mume.
Yeah, nothing they could do. This blue side was completely controlled. Oh, looking for a re-engage.
Interesting play attempt. Evan does burn the cleanse, as now here comes Babbles, perhaps on the warpath. That ult is a ways off, as the blast plant is taken by Pacquiao. They're still looking for something off of this
They're
play.
chasing so far.
But now Max Vince landing the knockup onto Please Listen to Me, who needs to get out of there. A lot of damage from the Spiraling Despair. Zaya forced into the air with the feathers as Volibear trying to dunk on 4 of them. Here comes Pacquiao, gets a 2-man sweep, gets the Ash, and that's all that really matters. Might be a shutdown for Babels as he looks to go off on the back line, but his team has fallen around him. Evan will kite him out, or will he? As the duo goes down. So at least a triple for the Mbessa, but still an ace for Mume. Now barreling down mid.
That is a crazy consolation triple for Babels. They could have just been the game just straight up there. But Babels picking out 3 on the back end saves them the game for now. But they just stretched so far for the kills. Like, they saw the Baron go right in front of their eyes, so Mume or Babels were just looking for anything they could, but they stretched a little too far. And because of that, Pacquiao gets a free angle onto their backline. Younglin even still had flash available, but the wall just hit everyone it needed to.
Yeah, maybe a bit over aggressive from the side of the Babylons, trying to chase in for anything after just kind of losing a free Baron. Where, like you said, Side Mume very methodical, choking out the vision in the top side and then using that leverage and all that vision to go into an uncontested Baron. Now securing the dragon on bot side as well.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with this Baron. It looks like Mume is just controlling the bottom side now. Pacquiao going straight in. Spiraling Despair drops, but getting flanked here.
Yeah, Please Lee Sin is going to try to find something, but he is met by 5 members of the enemy team. So he is going to drop. His tower is sure to drop as well. Max Vince can actually look for something as Volibear is going to be the target, gets rooted up, but Ash is starting to fire back. Pika has to retreat. Evan is in a rough spot. Here comes the Stormbringer. Flash out from the Zaya. Now maybe a re-engage as the Azir can't get the sweep. Pacquiao was down super low, but they're able to kill off the Mbessa. Now Babbles is maybe a bit caught out. He has to retreat. It was looking like maybe they could chase in, but it is just Babbles dying in the extended play.
Yeah, Babel's Beyblers are just looking for anything they can get. And they're just stretching so far constantly to try and go for anything. Babbles had a good dodge on the Emperor's Divide, so he thought he could go further, but he forgot that there's other CC on the team and just got deleted after that. I guess they get a turret for their efforts, but map is still pretty dire for them.
Yeah, now Renekton and Rexa are maybe hunting on the bot side. I think Younglin and Cat should be able to get out, but Babbles is going to try to run out on all fours as the Volley Bear and will escape to the tower, so Renekton and Rek'Sai still poking around a little bit, but don't think they'll be able to find much. So Younglin trying to chase in, but now he might be caught on the backside, evades the entrance from the Rakan, but Babbles, meanwhile, is left to his own devices and dies. As the Maw hits and some good damage onto the Rakan, so the support will at least be another constellation prize. Severing Bolt, almost killing off Pacquiao. Weasley Sin playing aggressive on the front foot with the water. Maybe looking for an angle. They have ult up on Babbles in just a little bit. Featherstorm is still down on Evan as they are still pushing to try to get something more from this play.
I've seen this before.
Public Execution is up, but I mean, Pacquiao is going to be able to contribute with soldiers from so far away. It is not worth diving in. They do cancel the recall, and they know he's there from the volley, but I mean, they call it this time. They chase them through almost the entire lane, but they call it at the end.
Third time is a charm. Let's just keep chasing them. Babbles Beyblers. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull it a fourth time. They're just going to keep trying to chase with the Ashe, with the Mbessa infinite dashes. But that's really their entire game plan at this point. 6k gold lead, 28 minutes in. Renekton has finished Death Dance now, so it's going to be extremely hard for Younglin or Babbles to kill this frontline Renekton. And this Rek'Sai is not squishing either now. He has the Sterak's finish as well. That's a pretty tanky Rek'Sai, honestly.
Yeah, we will see Baron up in about 50 seconds. So Mume doing their due diligence once again with moving forward, choking out vision. We do have Infinity Edge completed on the Ashe, still working her way towards maybe some armor penetration to get through the Rek'Sai, get through the Renekton. As, I mean, the Azir also up, basically an entire item at this point, does have the Zonias, so that if he goes for super aggressive sweeps, he is not going to really be punished for it.
Yep, the choke out of Babbles Beyblade's blue side begins once again. The vision line being pushed up means that they will not be able to see anything besides that wolf camp.
A Hawk Shot at least gives them that safety button of getting any sort of vision, but now they need a face check in. Babbles not particularly strong on the Volley Bear. They do have the volleys to continue poking away and make sure they're not walking in completely blind. But all eyes on Younglin for any sort of fight. Can Washed on top get on top of him with dominance, with this lead on the Renekton? Can the Azir sweep him away? As the Hui is going to get the Spine Despair onto Max Vince, the Rakan. Fine soaking that up as Enchanted Crystero comes on down. But here comes Pacquiao onto the backline. The sweep only hits onto the bear. Oh. But now Rakan maybe looking for an angle. Gets a two-man charm. It's Max Vince first to fall. Public Execution misses. Pacquiao goes golden, but he's still shut down. Washed on top now trying to do something. But somehow the Babblers just take the 5v5 in mid and continue barreling down.
It might not be game. It's very close, but that's an insane fight win for Babbles Beyblers. This game just turns into all-out ARAM, and they're just pressing their buttons and constantly moving forward. And Pacquiao really felt the pressure there. He thought he had a big Shurima shuffle and just landed face first on them. Are they trying to go for the end?
Yeah, they're going to try to push forward here. It's 25 seconds on Pacquiao, 25 on Washed on top. They do at least get the inhibitor. They've got a modest wave with the cannon. Max Vince is back out. Evan and Pika are here to defend. Knock up onto the Mbessa as Ashe is now free firing because here comes the damage. Onto the backline they go. They kill off the Rek'Sai. They kill off the Lovers duo. Pacquiao's up in 2 seconds, but his Nexus towers are falling quickly. He's gonna try to do something. Looks for a Sun Disc. Looks for any sort of damage back. Is able to go off the way. Younglin is next. They get the carries. Babbles is trying to go on to the Nexus, but he's all on his lonesome. The Mbessa
No
damage
way.
isn't gonna be enough. Just a few
No
more autos. He
way.
limps back. The R
Oh
finally
my
comes up
God.
for Pacquiao. And one auto is all that remains. But it remains all the same.
Oh my God. That if Babel's Beyblades lose the game, I would feel terrible. That was a miracle comeback play. Please listen to me. Just hit everything on like every single person for 2 minutes straight. Like he probably did like 10 to 15k damage within the last 2 minutes. An absurd amount of value out of this play's AoE. And they almost ended unbelievable, just so unbelievable. And the game goes on from here too.
Yeah, the last second defense from the side of Mume. Those Nexus towers gonna respawn. The Nexus going to regen. Cloud Dragon is forever, at least. So they still have themselves a gold lead. They still have 3 dragons to 2. But now there's some more confidence on the side of the Beyblers to push up and assert their vision in the enemy jungle, excuse me. And Baron is up. It would be a bit hasty to do it. They don't have the kind of 2 mega damage dealers that the side of Mume do, that they were able to kind of sneak away an early Baron. But yeah, I mean, in these fights, we're seeing Younglin mostly be able to stand tall and dish out the damage. In the Nexus Siege, it was a nice job by the side of Mume to find those 2 carries from the start. Renekton on top of Lee Sin, to me, Azir on top of Younglin, and make sure that, you know, the Milio isn't going to auto the Nexus for all too much. Bandle Pipes, Volley Bear isn't going to auto the Nexus for all too much. And now Baron is the main prize left on the map.
And Mume are getting the inside track on the mid-wave here, so Babel's Beyblades might just call the bluff and start the Baron immediately. It's going down so fast.
Ash is pumping damage and is almost full
Gone.
build, so it is gone. The early smite gave me a heart attack. But either way, it is Baron for the Babblers.
Yeah, the map is just completely changed now. 3 minutes ago.
Oh, and it's
Lucite-
public
oh,
execution onto Washed on top. The Crocodile is able to get away just fine. They used the arrow earlier to maybe stop any sort of Baron, but they are still in the mid-wave. We are still A-ramming for a 5v5. The Nexus towers are back up just in time. As now here comes the Siege with this 1 Baron wave. Now Super's starting to come in.
Oh my God, this fight hurts so much now. Yeah, these turrets are just paper. Ash will kill them in like 3 autos apiece. The first one goes down. The wave is gone though, so they'll have an extra like 15 seconds right now. But it's so close.
Yeah, it is a bit maybe overzealous. They're going to have another super wave, but they're just playing through mid. They're just playing for the 5v5, but now Max Finn's going to pull the trigger. Finds his way into backline. They're looking for the Hui. Nice knockups in from the Rek'Sai. Flash out. Milio heals to try to get something back, but it's going to be 1 kill for the side of Mume, but Evan is already down.
Oh.
The Ash is just firing off all the arrows, and the Rangers focus brings home the Quadra. Are we going to see another Penta? We will.
Oh.
Younglin, 2 Pentas, 2 wins, and getting the 1 series victory for the side of Babel's Beyblers.
Unbelievable comeback, Shiv. Babel's Beyblers just refused to click backwards for like 15 minutes straight. Every time that the Mume team was on their enemy screen, they just kept clicking forward no matter what. And they just chased 3 times and died, and they just thought, let's keep going. And then it worked. And then it worked again, and they almost won. And it worked again, and then they did win. The bunch of psychopaths, bro. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I was curious in draft, like, hey, it looks like half your comp wants to go forward, half your comp wants to stay back. They were all going forward. They were all on the warpath, didn't play through sides, just saying we're going to BS5. No one's getting picked. We're confident in our team fight. Let's go win this thing. They keep Younglin alive. They keep Please Lee Sin alive enough to deal out all the damage that he can offer on the Hui. Great stuff from the Babblers.
I still can't believe my eyes. I cannot believe that works. I mean, well played to Babel's Babler. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. Very nice job from the Babblers as they will move on to 2-2 here on the Swiss stage, whereas Mume, they showed off that they're definitely a capable team. They had an incredibly dominant game too. Pakyu's the guy I've got my eye on for the remainder of the tournament. Felt like he played a very solid series. Same for Pika, but will be difficult to try to make their way back into the playoff picture now that they are at 1-3. Yeah, that is going to do it for us tonight, as there will be a bit more action tomorrow for DMV rivals as four other teams look to finish off week 4 strong. We'll see which ones are able to do it. But for now, we'll be signing off, wishing you a good night.